but a lot of it has to do with this concept of humility. Could you share just a little bit of, what led you to write the book and some of the things that you learned in putting that together, and as you've been sharing it, what God's been doing?
Yeah, thank you for asking. And lower comes from, honestly, a wrestling that I've had for a long time, and a personal struggle with pride and what comes from pride. But ultimately, coming out of Asbury, lots of people wanted us to tell the story of Asbury. And the more and more I prayed about it, the more and more I just couldn't just write a journal of 16 days. I had, it was so clear that the Lord was highlighting and doing something unique. And I really think we were encountering God's humility. Like the way that God was meeting us required supernatural humility, because it felt like he enthroned himself at like an old dusty chapel in Kentucky. That requires humility. And scripture says that he draws near to the humble. Asbury started with 19 college students that just they just took me up on the offer on, we want to experience the love of God. 19 students, not 19 movement leaders, not 19 preachers, influencers, whatever. 19 students who stayed and lingered and contended. And then what God was doing, as we continued to lower ourselves in humility, the more he would, the more space we would vacate, the more space our egos would vacate. The more space we gave to the Lord, he just was like, don't mind if I do, I'll fill it up. And then that just challenged me to read in scripture how you see humility as this golden thread from the garden to the next garden. Revelation 4 and 5 are some of the most humbling moments, and that's in the second coming. And then the humility of God in the garden to create a space for us to coexist with him is the humility. And then the pinnacle on earth of humility is Jesus on the cross, the incarnation to the cross. And then it's interesting that we would then not be captivated and talk about the cross of humility, but we would talk about, I've been talking with these churches and places I've gone, is I wish I had a message on courage and boldness and passion and the fear of God. But the most countercultural, captivating, compelling characteristic of Christian right now, I believe, is humility. And that, in a world of pride, in gray areas of arrogance, of platforming, what would be more countercultural and captivating of a community that exudes Christ-like humility?